Michael Turney. Tonight will be the introduction video for a case I'm interested in and looking at. I did say that this was going to be a more current case podcast now. This is an older case, but a current case as well. This is about Michael Turney. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Shadow Circus. His stepdaughter, Alissa Turney, went missing and alleged to be a runaway for quite some time. After his daughter, Sarah Turney, looked into it more after an arrest that we will get into later, she began to see that it seemed more of a different case, where she does believe that her father is responsible for the disappearance of her stepsister, Alissa Turney. And tonight, that's what we're going to talk about. So as said before, this will be an introduction video into this. And for anybody here that wants to know more about the Wade Wilson case as well, I will have another video coming out about it soon, where I will discuss in more detail of where I believe holes exist and the discrepancies pertaining to facts of the case. So the Michael Turney case, this goes all the way back to when Alissa Turney, at 17 years old, disappeared May 17th of 2001 in Phoenix, Arizona. When Alissa went missing, it was said that she had left a note explaining that she was going to run away to California. This came from Michael. And with that, and looked into it with her age being a determining factor, they determined there was no foul play involved and deemed her as a runaway and swept it under the rug. So the day that she did go missing, she was last seen on May 17th by her boyfriend. And she told him that she was going to be leaving school early that day to get picked up by her stepfather, Michael. She also had plans for a graduation celebration that she was going to attend later that evening as well, and never showed up. After she went missing, her stepsister Sarah, and Sarah has dedicated her life into finding justice for Alissa. And she's done extensive research, and she's the one that actually got this case reopened and looked into. She made a podcast. She tried to get her voice heard about what was going on with Alissa. She went on podcasts. She tried her best to go on national news. None of them wanted to pick up the story. Well, through going through podcasts, other podcasters encouraged her to just make her own channel and to put her own content out about everything she's trying to express. And through that, she made the podcast the Voices of Justice podcast. And also, she was the founder of Voices of Justice Media. You can go and see her content on TikTok. I will leave a link in the description. I'll also put a picture up on the screen so you can see what her page looks like. So even when all of this happened, she was very distraught about Alissa going missing. And she started making posters and flyers to put out. Even I think she was 12 years old at the time. And she was doing what she could do then to try to find her sister. As she was still looking into what was going on with the disappearance and trying to find out what happened, there was an inmate that confessed to killing her in 2006. And after he made this confession, he did admit it was a false confession, and he recanted it several times. But this is one of the things that actually made the police spark back up to look more into this case. when they looked into it, they found inconsistencies in things that Michael said, along with evidence that they were finding. One of the things that from back then that they also wanted to check was the video surveillance tapes of over the years, through investigating and through looking into this. She pulls the case files for Alissa and she starts going through it, and she starts making videos about her disappearance and what's going on and what's leading up to it up to this point. So through her doing this, it started getting attention. It started going viral on TikTok. Everything started moving. The ball started rolling. As the case got, I guess you would say, reopened, the criminal investigation began in 2008. So through interviews, through friends, family, everything through the interviews they did at that point in time, authorities started to see that this did not seem like a runaway case anymore. So the police started looking more into leads, and this led them to Michael, Alissa's stepfather, as a suspect. And based upon the things that they found in interviews and moving forward with the leads that they had, they got a search warrant to execute at Michael's house. When they executed the search warrant to search Michael's home, that's where they found 26 pipe bombs and other various explosives that he had at his home. And that's when he was arrested as a domestic terrorist. They also found a manifesto where he planned on doing an attack at a union hall. So with that information, it did have him arrested. He was charged with that and sentenced to 10 years in federal prison. Even though this did not do anything for Alissa's case, this did have him locked up for the time being, and possibly stopped an attack on a union hall. While he was locked up, Sarah originally did not think that her father was so much behind this, and she was kind of fighting for him to begin with. She started seeing more and more that all signs were pointing more to her father. They kept digging into this case, and they found home videos and weird things that were going on at that point in time. So she was sharing all that. Most of that, a lot of that, all of that is on TikTok. And it really picked up traction from there. It started going viral. People were looking at it, and it kind of forced the hand of law enforcement to be able to have to look at this more as well with everything that was coming out. So law enforcement originally told her that they were not going to charge Michael on anything to do with Alissa while he was being charged, while he was up under the domestic terrorist charge, because they didn't want these to coincide with each other. So they were going to wait. She knew what was going on. When he was released from jail, they decided not to press charges. So this was very disheartening to Sarah. So she continued on with everything that she was doing and looking for everything. So whenever they were investigating more, they also found that he had parental contracts with Alissa. He had video surveillance cameras all around the house. And some of these, she has some. I haven't went through everything. I'm still looking into this. But she has some of the video surveillance tapes of things posted. The footage from that day, Michael said that he had already went through the footage and found nothing of significance. And when they went to look at the footage, there was no recorded footage at all for that day. So what happened to the footage? Sarah kept digging deeper into this to try to get answers of what happened to her sister. And with everything that came to light, in August of 2020, Michael Turney was arrested on charges of second-degree murder in connection with Alissa's disappearance. And even as they were leading up to the trial, finding things, Sarah said, she has said that he has spent his life terrorizing women. And there were even victims of his coming forward right before the trial. The night before the trial happened, the state was asking Sarah and some of Alissa's friends very, very baseline knowledge questions about this case that really sent home to Sarah that the prosecution didn't do their job in this case, that they did not take this case that serious. They were asking questions like, which brother is which child came from which parent, just very baseline questions that through an investigation, these things would have been answered long before. These are the beginning questions, not the night before trial questions. Michael's defense requested for an acquittal, and in July of 2023, the judge granted that request for an acquittal. They said that the state hasn't presented their case. With that, Sarah has not given up hope on this, and she still continues to advocate for not only Alissa, but other missing people as well. So this is the introductory video into this case. I'm still looking into it. Get in the comments. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you know. If there's people out there that know something, put it out there. Sarah is on her TikTok channel. She is constantly looking for more information. If anybody knows of anything, she would love to know. So y'all get in the comments. Let me know what y'all think about this case. Let me know of other cases that you want me to start looking into. And with that, I'll see you soon.